All right, hey there. In this video, we're going to be doing a quick review of Journey.io. Some of you may have heard it through all the buzz and hype it's been having these past couple of months. For others, this may be brand new. In either case, I'm going to be walking through what Journey.io entails and my honest 2 cents on it. Just as a heads up, if you're not familiar, I run a website called salepier.com, SALEPIER.com. We collect, we aggregate, we review the newest and coolest sales tools coming out for you or your organization. So, with that said, what is Journey? They describe it as, a new way of storytelling through responsive slides, video recordings, interactive blocks, so on and so forth. Just think of it as a souped up version of Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint. In their own words, the value add or their unique selling point is the ability to create content automatically with AI, able to personalize the content either to your own branding or the customer's branding easily, and then swap in modular content through different blocks that they have, pre-made blocks, and get insights on how viewers are engaging with the content. So with that said, once you create an account up here, you're going to be taken to the Journey dashboard where you'll see a list of all the journeys you've created and a sidebar and a bunch to create a journey. So you've probably heard me say the word journey as a noun right now, and that's because they describe these pieces of content or these assets as journeys, not a slide deck as you and I may be accustomed to calling it. That could potentially be because of branding, or they don't want us to compare a journey to a slide deck or a PowerPoint. It's a means of differentiation. In either case, it's basically a slide deck, I'll be honest, but just a heads up there. So clicking into this, when you click create a journey, you have one of four options. You can create a journey with AI, you can create a journey from scratch, you can repurpose an existing journey into, an existing piece of content into a journey, or you can create from a template. Couple notes here. When it comes to converting an existing presentation, you can only upload a PDF. You won't be able to, upload an Excel file or a .ppt file. So just keep that in mind. Whatever PDFs you feed it in, it can turn that into a slide deck. It doesn't even have to be a previous slide deck. So just a quick call out there. So I've played around with all of these. I'm going to be switching over to all of them, but real quick, let's start with this and let's type in a prompt and let it run in the background while we kind of demo the other options of creating a journey we have, just because these do take a couple of minutes to create. So in terms of a journey description, let's say for the purposes of example, we want to showcase a growth plan to double revenue in China in the next 5 years for a cosmetics company. And we'll hit start my journey and we'll let that run. While that's running, let's check out some of the other options. So what you're seeing here is creating a journey from scratch. So when you click on that, you're presented with a blank canvas. And on the right hand side, you have a couple of options. You can add text and you get a text box here. You can add images where you can use an AI image through Stable Diffusion or Dolly, or upload an image of your own. So let's say Mona Lisa as painted by Picasso. Let's see what that does. While that's loading, you have the ability to include some links. You can upload files of your own. You can use a library of existing content that you might have already added to the journey. And then you have the ability to add a recording. I'm going to click out of that. And then last but not least, a bunch of different integrations, right? Loom, YouTube, Calendly, Gong, Typeform, HubSpot. And then you can also add in your customer's logo, any e-signature that you want, an equivalent to DocuSign, video, document, so on and so forth. It looks like our image has loaded, so let's scroll back up. that's pretty cool. You know, we typed in Mona Lisa as if Picasso created it, and here we have a very cool rendering of that, and you can add a caption, so on and so forth. And then you can continue to add, again, new slides, new panes. I don't know what they call it, but you can say test, and then, you know, keep adding accordingly, and you can see this populate, and you can kind of scroll up and down and check that out. Switching over, let's take a look at the template. So this is one of the pre-made templates that they present you. This is a sales room template. Once again, very clean, very aesthetic, very simple. Scroll through, take a look at the content that they've put. You can embed. Is this a deck that they've embedded? Let's see. Yep, it looks like they have 4 slides here. So if you have an existing deck you want to use within the journey, feel free to rope that in. They have a call recording, so anything you've previously recorded in Gong, you can throw that in here as well. Features, videos, and then, you know, a one-click integration with the Calendly widget, I believe, where you can set up an appointment and kind of go through next steps. And I think when you do this full screen, here's how it looks. A lot of the sidebar content gets minimized, so predominantly just the journey itself. Sharing options, tweet, LinkedIn, email, and a link. I believe everything is shared primarily just through a link itself. I don't believe you can export this in an offline capacity, such as a PDF or a PowerPoint or anything like that. Everything is going to be a link. And then we have a button here that says ask anything. Looks like it's not cooperating with us today. Let's go back and try it again. So I believe this is a chatbot that's created specific to this journey. So that's pretty cool. So if someone doesn't have the time to kind of go through all the content, you can just be like, give me a 1-sentence summary of this journey. And let's see what it yields for us. So it simplifies it. Hey, this is a sales room template. This is a digital portal that simplifies communication, yada, yada, yada. And you have the ability to ask it follow-up questions. That's really cool. You can give the chatbot a personality by, again, I don't know if you can change its picture, but you can definitely name it, add a personality, add a greeting, or if you think this is too extra and unnecessary, you can also disable it. So that's pretty cool. Definitely not something that, you know, a traditional slide deck can do. And then switching over to the last option, I uploaded a PDF of a multi-page certificate of incorporation for a fictional company. I wanted to see how it would handle a non-slide deck or a document with a lot of text and what it would yield and generate for us. So you can see it pulls out the important stuff and places it or divides it, organizes it into different slides or pages, and then generates a relevant information. You can tell these are AI generated because, you know, these aren't actual words. You see some, you know, maybe Chinese here. I don't know what language this is here. It's in English. This is not even an actual word. So again, these are AI generated. You can swap it out, add logos, so on and so forth. And now that we've taken a look at this, let's go all the way back and check out our AI created journey that we asked to generate, which was doubling revenue in China, a growth plan. Let's take a look at what it created for us. So again, we entered a prompt. We didn't give any other information. Let's see how sophisticated or unsophisticated what this generated is. So I see an introduction. It looks like it just restated our objective we gave us and did a market analysis. Again, don't know what this quote-unquote market analysis is grounded in. There's no statistics. I don't know if this information is up to date. Rather, it sounds like it's just generating a generic market analysis statement. So something to point out here. More context here. Pretty cool template that it's creating for us. So obviously different competitors. It's not going to know what competitors, but you can obviously swap this out and substitute this out. current performance, more and more current performance. Pretty cool. It's pulling out the key challenges that brands or companies usually go through when they're trying to achieve growth: brand awareness, competition, regulations, cultural differences. Again, an AI generated piece of imagery, growth strategies, more growth strategies, a lot of growth strategies, execution plan, a little bit of a dramatic image for this execution plan, but it adds more color to the execution plan. And man, this is a long deck. And then we're going to the conclusion where we're kind of wrapping up and synthesizing the journey that we created first. So it looks like it did a pretty comprehensive job. Personally, I wasn't expecting it to be this robust. Obviously, a majority of this is just generalities, but it does provide a decent framework for you or a team member or a, employee to potentially use this as a starting point to put a pitch deck together. So that is the content creation side of this. Let's go back to the dashboard. Two other things I want to call out. So we just checked out templates, insights, whatever insights you want to take a look at. You can take a look at insights from two lenses. One is any content asset. So this is the Mona Lisa Picasso that we generated. You can see how many journeys it's used in, how many views it's had, how long they're looking at it, and click-through rates. And then journeys is, for all the journeys we've put together, how many, I think they're calling each slide a step, but how many steps there are, how many views it's had, how long they're looking at it, and I'm going to assume this is the completion rate, how many people are making their way all the way to the bottom. One of my initial concerns was, hey, if this is a link, can you, add comments? Can you collaborate? Can you make changes? And it sounds like you can. You can add in comments or send this out to folks, and when they leave a comment, you can check it out here, and then you can do some further fine tuning through the settings. So that is the premise of Journey. Here are my honest 2 cents in terms of, is this valuable for you as a seller? Is this valuable for your company as a founder or a sales leader or any sort of management position? Two trains of thought here. I think as a product, very well built, very well designed. Obviously, a lot of the really cool AI features and hype that you've probably seen in the past couple months have been embedded into this product very nicely. Very clean. You can tell these journeys are very aesthetic, high quality, and are easy to kind of digest, whether it's internal or for a customer. That said, the question I want you to ask yourself as you think about whether or not Journey is appropriate for your company is, what problem does this actually solve? Right? What problem does this actually solve? Is it a matter of convenience? Is it cost? Is it aesthetics? What sort of challenges are you or your team having with kind of collateral creation? When I think about the time savings aspect, it's really easy to claim, hey, it's AI, it's creating all this content, so it must be saving us a lot of time. But as we saw, it creates a lot of boilerplate information. And the time it would take to read, readjust, repersonalize, and kind of go through all those changes, I would wager it would take the same amount of time as creating a brand new deck from scratch. So the AI part of it, I'm not convinced is really saving you time. I would even argue that the bigger value here is if you have someone who's never built out a deck, or if you've never ever built out a deck for the kind of story you want to tell, and you need some guidance on laying a foundation, building out a framework, that's where something like this comes in handy. Although, again, I will argue you can ask ChatGPT or any large language model, give it a prompt and say, hey, I want to create a slide deck that tells story X, Y, and Z. Give me a framework to fill this out. So Again, that's not exclusive to just Journey. You can obviously achieve that through different ways. But where I think this succeeds is it intertwines the media, the integrations. We talked about being able to add in Gong recordings or Calendly or connect to your CRM, so on and so forth. So that's where it really intertwines. But purely from a content creation perspective, I'm not convinced it'll save you time just because you're having to do a lot of the editing from scratch again. And, there's not as much inherent value, at least to me, there. Second thing, too, is, and this is kind of a question across the industry, is if you do want to generate personalized content, are you willing to feed in sensitive and proprietary customer information, whether that's internal or external to a third party like Journey? That's obviously a risk you're going to have to kind of think about as well. Um, one application I can see this succeeding at is maybe internal applications. So you want to lead a sales training, or you have a new module, or I don't know, some sort of training that your team has to go through. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. You don't care if it's super personalized, or there's kind of margin for error. You can leverage something like Journey to quickly put that together. But I do think it becomes trickier for external facing. I wonder if you can leverage a PowerPoint or Google Slides. But as I'm thinking about this, one challenge with Google Slides is the integrations. You can't really embed a Calendly link as easily as you can here. So there's obviously trade-offs. Last but not least, thought that comes to mind is just navigation. Anytime someone is using a brand new platform they're not accustomed to, they're going to be like, what is this? Why do I have to open up a separate link or a separate platform or a separate interface that I'm not accustomed to? Just some food for thought. I would almost think of this as a digital sales room. This is a piece of content or collateral you're going to create specifically for a certain customer, send them a link, have them engage with it. So it's more so a hybrid between a journey or slides creation. It's more so a hybrid between a slide creation tool and a digital sales room. So it's not fully either or, somewhere in the middle. But really just think about, is this solving any problems, and is it worth the cost? And speaking of cost, taking a look at pricing. So on the free plan, you can create up to 5 journeys and unlimited content, unlimited journey views, capture emails. For the pro version, you have unlimited journeys, add up to 10 users, and remove the watermark. So that's going to be one constraint if you want to make this customer friendly or external facing. I don't think you're going to want to have a lot of branding or watermarks, so something to keep in mind. And obviously you probably get the full package in Teams, and a pretty big price jump, from $29 a month to at least minimum $6K. So something to think about. But cool tool to have in your back pocket if you want to put something together that's pretty low stakes. Don't need to use it all the time. From time to time, I think Journey is a cool way to quickly put together a slide deck / journey, or a mini digital sales room. If you find it to be sticky, you can obviously upgrade to the pro version. But I think my biggest takeaway and question for you here is this actually solving a problem for you? Don't buy into the hype just because it's AI. Think about the specific use cases for you, yourself, your team, and if journey.io is a good fit. But let me know what your thoughts are. I'm curious what others say, but thanks for the watch and hope this provided some insight.